Members of the National Police Service and whose specialized agencies are domiciled in the various police formations are up in arms protesting yesterday's remarks by Deputy President Gachagua, saying they amount to labeling them incompetent. Yesterday, while addressing members of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya Eacc at a hotel in Mombasa during their 40th annual seminar, Gachagua said the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission and the Directorate of Criminal Investigations should hire professionals from different fields instead of engaging police officers to investigate complex matters.
Eacc, DCI, please, for you to deal with corruption and economic crimes, hire professionals in every field as your investigators.
The DP added that Eacc and other security agencies should hire professionals like accountants and bankers instead of police officers to investigate financial crimes.
Have accountants, have procurement officers, have bankers, have all sorts of professionals for you to deal conclusively with economic crimes because they are complex.
The DP remarked, quote-unquote, sometimes police officers are assigned to investigate complex issues that they cannot comprehend, like on financial accounting. Eacc should have professionals in every field as investigators like bankers and accountants to deal with financial crimes because such areas are complex, end of quote. In a rejoinder, officers who spoke to the informal media group on condition of anonymity for fear of reprisals termed DP's remarks as, quote-unquote, unfortunate and a recipe for depicting the service as an attractive profession, end of quote. Another senior officer added, quote-unquote, it is unfortunate that came from second in command in this country. The National Police Service has a cocktail of professionals in various fields who have attained the highest level of qualifications, both locally and internationally. We are professionals. The sentiments made is a total misrepresentation of the professional standing of the disciplined services. This works against the ideals of promoting community policing, creating confidence amongst civilians and the standing of NPS in the society, end of quote. The National Police Service is classified into Kenya Police Service KPS, Administration Police Service APS, and the Directorate of Criminal Investigations DCI. Most of the specialized units are domiciled under DCI, key among them the Homicides Unit, Anti-Narcotics Unit, Forensics, Criminal Intelligence Bureau, Crime Research and Intelligence Bureau, Reforms and National Central Bureau, among others. Internationally, Kenya's discipline services have been rated highly and senior police officers elected to serve in international policing positions. For example, in November 2021, a former DCI Director George Kinoti was elected to the Interpol Executive Committee to represent Africa during the 89th session of the Interpol General Assembly in Istanbul, Turkey. He was overwhelmingly voted to represent Africa at the key security organ that brings together over 195 member states from across the world for a period of 3 years. Interpol is headquartered in Lyon, France, has a global complex for innovation in Singapore and several satellite offices in different regions. In his address yesterday, Gachagua cited harassment by police officers attached to the DCI during the last regime of a source of his 200 million shilling wealth. Gachagua said that if his case was handled by a professional accountant, it may not have ended in court.
When we were fighting to come to government, and the previous government targeted me for persecution because of my political stand, which was very firm, and decided to try to blackmail me to change my stand. I had put some money in a microfinance for 8 years. Fixed deposit, 200 million. A corporal in the police said, I have 800 million every year that is coming to the account. You know, that movement back and forth. So they calculated for 8 years, they said it's 12.4 billion. And they put up a case of 12.4 billion. And it's the same amount of money. The only 200 is the only money. There is no other money. Movement of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So yeye anaangalia pale, mwisho pale, at the head pale. Hey, they calculated, they say this man, in 8 years, he has gotten 12.4 billion. He needs to say where this money has come from. But it was the same 200 million. I tried to explain to him, huyo mjinga hawezi shika, hawezi elewa. But if they had an accountant or a banker in that bank, tungefika hapo kweli?
Further, he stated that due to shoddy investigations by police officers on various matters, the Task Force on Police Reforms, chaired by retired Chief Justice David Maraga, has recommended recruitment of professionals as inspectors. The Maraga-led team also recommended the sacking of the leadership of the National Police Service Commission (NPSC). To lay emphasis on his remarks that have now sparked raging outrage amongst members of the disciplined service, Gachagua asked members of professional bodies to apply for the jobs once the recommendations are implemented. Gachagua says the move will improve and maintain standards in the national agency involved in fighting graft.
And I want to say, now that we have agreed on police reforms, we have agreed that we'll have a cadet entry so that we attract professionals, so that you enter at the level of an inspector when you are professional. I want to encourage professionals across the country. When we implement that reform and there's a recruitment, please, accountants, come to the police force as a direct cadet and come and help these people to deal with issues that are complex. Au wengine wafanye kazi hii ya kawaida ya kushika wewe, kuweka wewe pingu, kutoa wewe, hiyo wafanye. Lakini ingine hii ni mambo ngumu hii. So to avoid this harassment of professionals by police, let us bring in professionals in the investigation agencies and things will be okay.
He was accompanied by the CS for East African Community, Arid and Semi-Arid Lands and Regional Development, Penina Malonza, PS National Treasurer Chris Kipto, Chairman of the National Assembly Finance and National Planning Committee Kure Kimani, Mohamed Ali, who is Nyali MP, Faisal Bada, who is Msambweni MP, Stanley Mudhama from Lamu West, and Lamu Senator Joseph Kamau, Eacc officials, among other leaders. He welcomed a request by Eacc to advise the government on public debt management, who advised that the mode of operation for President William Ruto's administration is engagement and consultancy with professionals so as to enrich our thinking. The DP remarked, quote-unquote, "We appreciate that Eacc has pronounced itself on a number of issues related to revenue collection, especially what it terms as double taxation and capping on maximum tax. The truth is that our challenge is public debt. We did not make it ourselves. After swearing in on the first day, I spoke about the status of the economy we inherited and said that we found a 9.6 trillion shilling debt, 900 billion shillings pending bills, Eurobond of $2 billion US, and a demoralized public service. We are facing a potential economic shutdown. The truth must be said." End of quote.